What if I told you that the reality you live today was built long before you realized it, and worse, without your permission? It may sound exaggerated, but what if the prison you feel stuck in has no walls, no bars, no doors, but is made of something much subtler: frequency? Nikola Tesla tried to warn us. He discovered that the entire structure of the universe comes down to three words: energy, frequency, and vibration. This wasn't a guess. It was a key. A formula capable of altering not just technology, but human consciousness itself. But this knowledge never made headlines. It was silenced, ridiculed, distorted. Because those who control your vibration control your reality. And those who control your reality control you. Have you ever felt like an invisible force was pulling you backward? Like no matter how hard you try, you keep hitting the same wall. That force has a name. It's the energetic field created by your repeated emotions, beliefs, and thoughts. And until you learn how to operate within that field, you'll always be a spectator in a life that could be yours, but seems to slip through your fingers. This video isn't about cheap mysticism or empty promises. It's about forgotten science, practical spirituality, and vibrational consciousness. It's about how your mind, heart, and body are emitting a frequency at all times, and how that frequency is, in fact, a request to the universe. And the question is, what have you been asking for without realizing it? Get ready for a journey that connects Tesla, quantum physics, mental reprogramming, and the secret no one wants you to discover: you don't attract what you want, you attract what you vibrate. And when you change your vibration, everything changes. Have you ever had that strange feeling that no matter how hard you try, something always seems to pull you back? As if there's an invisible barrier between you and the life you truly want to live. Maybe you look around and think, everything seems fine, but why do I feel stuck? It's like running on a treadmill: you're moving, but going nowhere. Many people have felt this way. And the curious thing is, sometimes this prison has no chains. It lives inside us. And here comes a provocative idea that few dare to consider. What if what's blocking you isn't the outside world, but your own vibrational frequency? Nikola Tesla once said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This isn't just a pretty quote to post on Instagram, it's a key. A password that can unlock the door to the reality you so deeply want to experience, but which always seems out of reach. Because yes, there is an invisible force surrounding you at all times. It's in you, around you, in your thoughts and emotions. It shapes your energetic field like a sculptor shapes clay. But unlike a conscious artist, you may be creating your reality on autopilot, shaped by traumas, fears, or limiting beliefs implanted long before you became aware of them. And worse, thinking everything is fine, while your subconscious wages a silent war against your dreams. Now, imagine you're inside a dark room. And the only way to turn on the light is to find the switch. Most people spend their whole lives stumbling around in the dark, blaming the outside world for it. But what if the switch was always there? Just buried under the dust of conditioning, repetition, and lack of vibrational awareness? True freedom begins when you stop searching outside and start tuning what vibrates within. Many times, it's not that the doors are closed. It's that your vibration is tuned to a different key. Just like a radio only plays the right station when it's properly adjusted, your life only begins to flow when you learn to align your emotions, thoughts, and intentions with what you truly want to manifest. And no, this isn't magic. It's emotional science. It's practical spirituality. It's quantum physics meeting the power of the subconscious, forming an invisible symphony that governs your existence. And the most fascinating part? That symphony is already playing. The problem is, maybe your ears are blocked by routine, fear, or disbelief. But don't worry. Along this journey, we'll tune that frequency together. And it all begins with understanding a principle as ancient as it is powerful, one that will completely change the way you see the universe. Everything is vibration. Everything that exists vibrates. This isn't just a spiritual metaphor or an esoteric belief, it's pure science. From the subatomic particles that make up your body to the most distant galaxies, everything is in motion. Everything pulses. Everything emits a frequency. Including you. Your thoughts, your emotions, even your silence has its own unique vibration. And the true turning point comes when you understand that this vibration isn't passive, it creates. It attracts. It shapes. Have you ever noticed how some environments make you feel lighter, while others seem to drain your energy? That's because vibrational frequencies are constantly communicating. When you walk into a place filled with love, art, and truth, you feel it. When you enter a space clouded by fear, anger, or judgment, you feel that too. Now stop and ask yourself, what frequency have you been emitting, without realizing it, every single day? If your thoughts are repeatedly negative, anxious, or lacking, your vibration will reflect that. And what do you attract? More situations that confirm that same energy. It's as if the universe is a vibrational mirror. It doesn't respond to what you intellectually want, but to what you emotionally vibrate. That's why so many people say, I want prosperity, yet they vibrate scarcity. The result? More scarcity. Want a practical example? Imagine someone who keeps repeating mentally, I want a healthy relationship, but deep down vibrates fear of abandonment. That person, without realizing it, may end up attracting unstable relationships. This isn't punishment, it's energetic coherence. Once you understand this, you begin to shift from reactive vibration to conscious vibration. And that's when everything changes. Because you stop being a victim of circumstance and start co-creating your reality with intention. Nikola Tesla understood this masterfully. He knew that behind all visible matter lies an invisible vibrational structure. And that whoever learned to consciously manipulate it would hold the true power of creation. That's why vibrational frequency is more important than physical effort or logical planning. It's what determines whether what you desire will flourish, or wither before it's even born. And this is where the dance begins between two universal laws that many people confuse, the law of vibration and the law of attraction. The first is the cause. The second is the effect. Before you attract, you vibrate. Before you manifest, you emit. Before you receive, you transmit. And the sooner you understand this natural order, the quicker you'll realize why some things haven't arrived yet, and what needs to shift for them to come. But for that, we need to go a little deeper. Quantum physics made a giant leap when scientists discovered that matter, at its core, isn't solid. Everything that appears concrete, your body, your phone, the money in your bank account, is made up of atoms. And atoms are, in essence, vibrating energy. In other words, what you call reality is merely a specific density of vibration that your senses are able to interpret. But there is much more beyond what the eyes can see. Matter is just the tip of the iceberg. And what does that have to do with your life? Everything. Because if your thoughts and emotions are also made of energy, they have the power to influence matter. When you feel fear or anger, your frequency drops. And this low vibration directly affects your energetic field. On the other hand, when you feel gratitude, love, joy, your field expands. You begin to operate at a higher frequency. And at that frequency, reality responds differently. Think of an old radio. You turn the dial to change the station, right? If you're tuned to the wrong frequency, all you hear is static. But when you hit the right frequency, the music begins to play. Vibration works exactly the same way. If you want to experience a more prosperous, healthy, and loving reality, you need to learn how to tune into that station. And that only happens when you raise your vibrational frequency with awareness and repetition. From a spiritual perspective, this logic is echoed in the teachings of great masters. Neville Goddard said that you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. In other words, your external reality is a reflection of your vibrational identity. And changing that identity requires more than just positive thinking, it requires energetic alignment. Your mind, your emotions, and your actions must vibrate in coherence with what you want to manifest. Joe Dispenza calls this updating your quantum field. When you repeatedly engage in creative visualization with real emotion, your brain starts to interpret that scene as real. This activates neuroplasticity. Your brain literally restructures itself to live that new experience. Over days, weeks, or months, this consistent practice begins to shift your dominant vibration. And eventually, your new reality starts to appear, almost like magic, but backed by science. That's when everything starts to make sense. It's not enough to want, you must vibrate. It's not enough to understand intellectually, you must feel. Energetic coherence between thought, emotion, and action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. And the more conscious you become of that bridge, the faster you can cross it toward the life you desire. But, what happens when patterns keep repeating themselves, even with all this understanding? That leads us to a crucial point. Have you ever noticed how certain problems seem to come back with almost comedic timing? It's like life is stuck on repeat. You end one relationship, start another, and the same conflicts show up. You change jobs, but the feeling of frustration lingers. You move houses, but the anxiety follows you. The truth is, when your dominant vibration doesn't change, the scenery may look different, but the story remains the same, just with new costumes and the same old script. These repetitive patterns are the universe's way of signaling that there's an unresolved vibrational imbalance. You're emitting a frequency, perhaps one of fear, unworthiness, or scarcity, and the universe, like a mirror, reflects exactly that. It may seem harsh, but in reality, it's a powerful opportunity for awareness. It's like an energetic alarm saying, "Look within, something needs to shift." And once you understand this, you stop blaming others and start transforming yourself. A clear example: think of someone who always ends up with narcissistic partners. At first glance, they may think they're just unlucky in love. But if they look deeper, they might realize that their vibration of low self-esteem, created by limiting beliefs, is attracting people who simply reflect that feeling. When they reprogram their subconscious, they change their frequency. And when the frequency changes, so does the type of person they attract. Simple? Yes. But it takes courage to look within. Another common example: someone who's always chasing money but can never seem to save any. This often has less to do with how much money comes in and more to do with the vibration they hold around it. If they vibrate fear of loss, scarcity, or guilt around receiving, their energetic field repels abundance. The money may come, but slips away like sand through fingers. The solution isn't to work harder, it's to vibrate differently. Change the frequency before changing the action. These cycles are like lessons life repeats until they're learned. And here's the curious part: when you truly learn the lesson, the pattern vanishes, as if it never existed. The relationship shifts, the bank account balances, the health improves. Not because you forced external change, but because you rewrote your inner world. Your vibration shifted. And the universe, ever obedient, simply followed the new program you broadcasted through your vibrational identity. But here comes a crucial twist: knowing this is great, but it isn't enough. Understanding that vibration creates reality is one step. The next, and perhaps the most challenging, is learning how to align yourself with what you want to live, even when everything around you still looks the same. How do you vibrate abundance in the midst of scarcity? How do you feel love when you've only experienced rejection? There's a powerful secret to this, and it involves embodying the end as if it has already happened. One of the greatest secrets of manifestation is something that seems simple, yet few truly practice: vibrating as if the desire has already come true. This is where the magic, or rather, vibrational science, happens. You don't attract what you want in the future. You attract what you feel right now. If you desire abundance but vibrate need, the universe interprets that you're in lack. And it responds to the lack, not to the desire. That's why fake it till you make it isn't just psychological, it's energetic. Picture a young woman who dreams of living off her artistic talent. For years, she chased opportunities, always with the underlying fear of rejection. Until one day, she began waking up every morning as if she were already a recognized artist. She acted with gratitude, visualized invitations, and felt pride as if she were standing in a gallery. 3 months later, without even looking, a real opportunity appeared. Coincidence? No. It was vibration in alignment with the final state. Neuroscience explains this through neuroplasticity. Your brain doesn't distinguish between something physically experienced and something intensely imagined. When you visualize creatively with true emotion, you install a new circuit. And the more you repeat that internal scene, the more natural it becomes. Your brain starts to rewire old patterns and align your body, mind, and energetic field with this new vibrational identity. In other words, you start becoming what you want to attract. Many believe they need to see to believe. But in manifestation, you must believe to see. Neville Goddard emphasized this: you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as if it's already happening. And not just wish for it, but live mentally and emotionally in that state. If you want prosperity, live with the posture of someone who trusts the flow. If you want love, vibrate self-worth, presence, and openness. The universe doesn't respond to doubt, it responds to energetic coherence. Want to apply this right now? Close your eyes and imagine your ideal life. Where do you wake up? Who are you with? What do you feel? Now, bring that feeling into the present. Breathe as if it's already real. Walk today in that vibration. This is conscious vibration. It's not a one-time ritual, it's a daily practice of remembering who you want to be and acting accordingly. It's like tuning an instrument. At first, it goes out of tune quickly. But with practice, it becomes harmony. And once you understand that you're not just reacting to life, but co-creating it, everything changes. Because the next step goes even deeper, realizing that your observation shapes reality. That your attention is a creative beam that collapses possibilities and transforms the invisible into matter. Now that you've begun to feel the final state, you're ready to understand the role of the observer in this energetic equation. In quantum physics, there's a curious and deeply revealing phenomenon: the collapse of the wave function. Simply put, a subatomic particle can exist in infinite possibilities, until someone observes it. When it is observed, it chooses a specific state. This means that the very act of looking alters reality. In other words, the universe responds to your attention. And what you focus on, emotionally and energetically, expands. This changes everything. Because if you're constantly looking at your fears, your scarcity, your past failures, guess what? You're collapsing those realities, reinforcing them through your constant observation. And it's not just about thinking, it's about how you feel what you think. If you vibrate anger, resentment, guilt, those emotions feed the energetic field that attracts more of the same. The mind creates, but the heart confirms. And the universe always responds to vibrational coherence. Most people don't realize they're using the power of the observer against themselves. They're stuck in a loop of reactive vibration, acting from trauma, old pain, and inherited beliefs. And this is the real battlefield, not the outer world, but what's silently running in the subconscious. Bob Proctor used to say that 96% of our lives are driven by unconscious patterns. That's a terrifying thought, but also a liberating one, because it gives you clues about where to begin. Here's a practical example. Someone who grew up hearing that money is dirty might spend their entire life unconsciously avoiding wealth. Even while saying they want to prosper, their vibration, shaped by limiting beliefs, collapses realities where money slips away, delays, or comes with struggle. This distortion must be corrected in the field of internal observation. Only when their perception shifts does their vibration change. And with that, reality reorganizes itself. The secret here is simple but powerful. you must observe with intention. That means placing your attention on what you want to see grow, even if it's not visible yet. It means using creative visualization as a daily tool. It means remembering that the universe doesn't respond to what you say you want, but to what you show with focus, emotion, and repetition. This is mental and emotional reprogramming applied at the quantum level. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. But here's the warning: as long as you don't consciously take control of this observation, your vibration will be led by automatic patterns. And those patterns are almost always installed in moments of pain. The good news? You can absolutely change this. But to do that, you'll need to go even deeper, and touch the root where it all begins, your subconscious, that silent mechanism that sets the rules of the game without you even realizing it. The subconscious is like the backstage of your life. Everything that happens on stage, your relationships, your health, your finances, is just a reflection of what's programmed behind the scenes. And the most intriguing part? You don't access that script with logic or willpower. It's shaped by past experiences, repetition, and especially intense emotions. Since childhood, your mind has been absorbing beliefs, and many of them aren't even yours. They were inherited, copied, imposed. But today, you can rewrite them. This reprogramming process begins with a simple but courageous step: observation. Observe your automatic thoughts, emotional triggers, recurring patterns. When something constantly irritates you, or when you freeze in familiar situations, that's a clue. It's like a vibrational GPS pointing to old wounds. And if you're brave enough to face them, you're already halfway there. Because awareness is the beginning of healing. And healing is a vibrational shift. But observing isn't enough. You need to interrupt those cycles. That's where practical techniques come in, like creative visualization combined with elevated emotion. Imagine, for example, a new version of yourself, confident, prosperous, at peace. And feel it as if it's real. Feel it in your body, not just your mind. The more emotion you add, the more your brain believes it as a new truth. Neuroplasticity begins to work. And slowly, your subconscious updates its programming. Another powerful technique is emotional coherence in affirmations. It's no use repeating, "I am abundant," with fear in your heart. But if you do it in a state of calm, gratitude, or joy, even for just 2 minutes a day, the message begins to sink in. The secret lies in the vibration behind the words. Conscious vibration re-educates the energetic field. And over time, this new frequency becomes your vibrational signature. It's also worth looking at your daily habits. Everything you consume, news, music, conversations, feeds your vibration. If you're constantly surrounded by negative input, your subconscious records it all as truth. Change your environment. Change your references. Read authors like Joe Dispenza, Neville Goddard, or Florence Scovel Shinn. Feed your mind with content that strengthens the vibrational identity you want to embody. This transforms more than you might imagine. And the most incredible part is that this process, though silent, begins to visibly alter your reality. The people around you shift. Unexpected opportunities appear. Coincidences become synchronicities. Because when your field changes, everything changes. But make no mistake, reprogramming requires daily practice, intention, and patience. And to keep it alive, you'll need tools and simple, yet extremely effective, exercises to realign your vibration whenever it begins to waver. There's no point in understanding everything about vibrational frequency if you don't apply it. Real transformation happens through daily practice. So here are simple, yet extremely effective exercises to help you consciously align your vibration. The first step is self-observation. Throughout the day, pause and ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? It may sound basic, but this habit changes everything. Because when you name what you feel, you stop being a prisoner of the emotion, and begin choosing how to respond. A quick exercise is the 2-minute vibrational reset. It works like this. When you notice yourself vibrating fear, guilt, or anger, close your eyes and recall a moment of genuine joy. It could be a trip, a hug, a personal victory. Relive that scene as if it's happening now. Smell the scents, hear the sounds, step fully into the image. Hold that state for 120 seconds. Just this alters your body's chemistry and immediately elevates your frequency. Another powerful tool is the vibrational gratitude journal. Every day, either before bed or upon waking, write down 3 things you're grateful for. But don't just write, feel it. Let your body participate in the gratitude. It could be as simple as hot water in your shower or a meal on your plate. What matters is the emotion. This habit teaches your subconscious to vibrate abundance, even if the external reality hasn't changed yet. It's energetic training. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You can also use the morning intention technique. Right after waking up, before touching your phone, decide how you want to feel throughout the day. Today I choose to vibrate lightness. Today I tune into joy. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize situations unfolding with that vibration. This is active vibrational programming. You're setting the tone of your frequency before the outside world has a chance to shape your day. Additionally, use your body as a vibrational tool. Dancing, conscious breathing, walking in nature, or taking cleansing baths with sea salt or herbs like rosemary and lavender, all of these help clear your energetic field. The body stores emotions. So when you move with awareness, you're also moving stagnant energy. A bath ritual, for instance, can be more powerful than many meditations when done with intention. It's practical, accessible, and highly effective spirituality. And remember, the secret isn't doing it once and expecting miracles. The key is repetition. Vibration realigns through consistency. If you fall, start again. If you mess up, adjust. It's like an energetic gym. The more you train, the stronger you become. And to maintain that training, you'll need to create a vibrational maintenance routine, a lifestyle that sustains your elevated frequency, even on the hard days. Maintaining a high vibration is like tending to an energetic garden. It's not enough to water it once and expect eternal blooms. It requires ongoing attention, not with strain, but with presence. One of the most powerful rituals is regular contact with nature. Feel the earth beneath your bare feet, watch the sky, sit in the silence of a tree. Nature doesn't judge, rush, or demand. It vibrates in harmony, and when you connect with it, you remember your own original frequency. Another potent habit is the conscious use of silence. Turn off notifications, step away from digital urgency, and sit with yourself for a few minutes each day. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. But soon, you'll realize that within silence lies your true vibrational essence. That's where the energetic field begins to reorganize. Eckhart Tolle speaks of this beautifully. Silence is not emptiness. It is fertile space where presence is born, and with it, conscious vibration. Art is also a path to energetic maintenance. Music, painting, writing, dance, any creative expression that pulls you into the moment and helps you lose track of time. When you create, you elevate. And you don't need to be an artist. What matters is allowing yourself to express without judgment. Creative vibration is expansive. It pulls you out of the analytical mind and brings you into the heart, and it's in the heart where the most powerful magnetic field of the human body radiates. Simple rituals can have a profound impact. A bath with sea salt and rosemary after a heavy day. A candle lit with intention before sleep. A mantra repeated with faith in traffic. A cup of tea sipped in silence while looking out the window. These small gestures anchor your vibration in the present and reinforce your vibrational identity. Spirituality doesn't have to be complex to be deep, it simply needs to be lived with intention. Another essential point: pay attention to the people around you. Vibration is contagious. If you're surrounded by constant complainers, your field absorbs that. This doesn't mean you need to cut people off, but you must protect your energy. Set vibrational boundaries. Use protective visualizations, like imagining a golden light surrounding your body. And whenever possible, spend time with people who uplift, inspire, and expand you. And remember, life will test your vibration. It'll rain on the day of your trip, the car will break down, someone will criticize you. That's normal. But true freedom begins when, even in those moments, you're able to stay centered. Not react, but choose. Not absorb, but influence. And when you start living this way, reality begins to respond differently. But to close this cycle, there's just one final reminder, about the great law of manifestation. In the end, your reality is a mirror of the vibration you sustain. It doesn't matter how much you say you want to change, if your frequency is still fear, doubt, or lack, that's exactly what the universe will reflect. Life doesn't deliver what you intellectually deserve. It delivers what you emotionally vibrate. And that's the true game of manifestation, not fighting what's outside, but mastering what's vibrating within. Freedom, at its deepest level, is not the absence of problems. It's the ability to maintain a high vibration even when everything seems to fall apart. It's the skill of not losing your peace when the world loses its mind. It's the understanding that your vibrational frequency is your greatest asset. Because as long as you sustain it, you remain in harmony with the energetic field where anything can be recreated, and this isn't theory. It's practice. It's choice. It's consistency. Throughout this journey, you've seen that you're not bound by what people call destiny. You are a co-creator. You have the power to choose your vibration in every moment. You can reprogram your subconscious, transform limiting beliefs, access states of energetic coherence, and vibrate with intention. It's not easy, but it's possible. And more than that, it's inevitable, once you've chosen to awaken. Awakening has no reverse. Once expansion begins, it demands continuity. And if at any point you felt moved, even subtly, that's a sign that something within you is shifting. A field has been activated. A new frequency has begun to emit. It may seem imperceptible, but that new vibration is already altering your field. And with time, coincidences become synchronicities. Closed doors begin to open. The answers you searched for outside begin to rise from within. But none of this works unless it's lived. Nothing changes with theory. Nothing changes with just another video watched and forgotten. Practice is the only way to transform vibration into reality. So the question is, what will you do with all of this now? Will you let it fade as a fleeting inspiration, or will you start applying it today, even with a small step? The field responds to intention. Life responds to decision. And you already have everything you need to begin. In fact, this is just the beginning. Because if you've made it this far, you're already vibrating on a new frequency. You're no longer the same person who hit play. And the next natural step is to continue the journey, exploring more, going deeper, vibrating with greater intention. But first, how about a powerful, inspiring reminder of why all of this matters so much? Maybe now you're asking yourself, okay, so what do I do with all of this? The answer is simpler than it seems, but it takes courage. You don't need to change the world out there. You need to change the world that vibrates within you. And that begins with a decision, to stop living on autopilot and start observing your vibration with awareness, intention, and self-love. What kind of reality are you creating in this very moment? What have you been allowing into your energetic field every day? And most importantly, what will you choose to feel, think, and believe, from this moment on? Because no matter where you are, the vibration you sustain today is shaping what you'll live tomorrow. Don't wait for the right moment. The moment is now. Take a step. Small, but conscious. Choose a practice, a ritual, a new thought, and stick with it. Because your frequency doesn't shift with intensity, it shifts with consistency. Transformation happens in silence, but the results will speak so loudly that no one will be able to ignore them. You are not a victim. You are a co-creator. And the reality you desire is closer than you think, you just have to tune into it. So tell me, what vibration will you choose to sustain today? If this message touched you in any way, if it made sense or sparked a new awareness within you, then this video has already fulfilled its purpose. Now, to keep going on this journey and learn even more about your vibrational frequency, mental reprogramming, and the true creative power that lives within you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. There's so much more to come, and you won't want to miss it.